Boom! Just like that. Wait, Michael Murray. How? I'm live on Benzinga Live. I can't be jumping onto a meeting. I just heard Michael Murray go from across the office. Aaron Bree should be hopping on. And it's like, I am starting a show right now on YouTube with you guys. We're live. It's Benzinga Live. Happy Thursday, everyone. I was going to say Wednesday because my days are a little screwed up. We missed yesterday's show. Let me get this Jimmy John's trash out of here. Did you guys miss the show yesterday? I hope you guys did. I know, we had a great time out at our first ever, the inaugural, hopefully of the first of many Benzinga golf outings. A lot of people have been asking, and we'll get right out ahead of it. No, did not win. My group, that honor was reserved for the great Aaron Thomas. MVP Aaron Thomas over here. Congrats to him. Putted like he was Cam Smith or someone at Knollwood Country Club and delivered the win for his team. But my team, Team 2, put up a valiant effort. We were proud of our performance. But we're back now, back in the markets. I wasn't really paying attention to the market yesterday. It looked like we ripped off the Fed announcement, surprise there, and then gave up some of those gains. So, let me know in the chat if you guys were trading, that announcement yesterday or looking at some other things. Here in about 10 minutes, Steve Collation from Trade Easy will be joining us. We'll see what charts Steve's been watching. One of the best setups out of anyone we bring on the show. He's got about 50 monitors behind him. We will also be talking about, as the title suggests, did my puts on AB? I think I putted decent. We made my group. John G was probably our team MVP. He made a lot of putts, made a lot of good shots. We pretty much took the day off yesterday too. I mean, if you want to technically say we were working, sure. I worked in the morning. I was in the office, and then we went to the golf thing. I actually also ended up playing a whole nother 9 holes after we did the scramble, just on my own. I actually really enjoy walking alone playing golf. It's like one of my favorite things. I don't really like being alone, but in that case, I like it. I don't know why. Well, actually, I think I'd prefer one other person, maybe. Benzinga was putting, not putting. Yeah, exactly. What? I don't know, man. I don't know what we're talking about. I was just saying we didn't have a show yesterday because we had a little company golf outing. It was fun. People were asking about it. But we will be talking about Tesla's insider trades, as the title suggests. So we'll play the intro. Like I said, Steve will come on. We'll spend a few minutes on the Tesla insider trades. Whoa. That is a close shot. What's up, guys?
This is Benzinga Live. Spencer Israel and producer AB. What's up, everybody? How we doing?
Someone told me buy high, sell higher.
Let's get Matt Hammond on the show to talk some IPOs. Jake Wujasek from Trend Spider. We have a breaking news.
All right. Catching up on the chat. Puts on Tesla. We can talk about that. That was intense, that shot. Yeah, I know. It is what it is. What's your thought on psychedelic companies? We will talk about that. I do have thoughts on psychedelic companies. We, of course, have the, Benzinga Cannabis and Psychedelic Conference. I've had the pleasure of actually interviewing and talking to a lot of different executives from these psychedelic companies. Blind Trader said, I miss playing golf. I've seen a lot of videos of blind people golfing. It's probably one of the few sports that people who can't see can play. So, blind golfer, or blind trader, if you're ever in Detroit and want to golf, I'm your guy. So let's talk about Tesla for a second. I'll pull up my Benzinga Pro. And this was something that I saw on Twitter shared, or like some graphic just about Tesla's insider trades. And of course, I would say anything you see on Twitter or Reddit or whatever that you find interesting, especially if you're going to not even like trade based off of it, but if you're going to allow that information, that post, to even permeate your, decision-making process in the slightest bit, you want to make sure it's at least legit. So basically the graphic was just saying there have been, X amount of sales of Tesla over the last year and no buys. And I wanted to look into it. So I did. And I dug into it, and I wanted to share my findings with you guys because I found I found those findings to be somewhat interesting, and maybe you'll find these findings to also be somewhat interesting. And I'll show you what's really cool. One thing that I would say do really well here at Benzinga is that when we hear feedback from readers on our site, or they say, oh, I wish you guys had this, oh, this site has this and you guys don't, we try to bring those tools to existence and make them useful for you. And that's what we've done with our insider trading page. So we're looking at just Tesla stock here on Benzinga Pro. Of course, pro.benzinga.com for a free 2-week trial, no credit card needed. You have everything you could possibly want in here in this platform, from fundamentals to charts. Soon you'll be able to trade directly on here as well. So again, no reason not to sign up for the free trial, but I'm going to take you guys outside of Benzinga Pro to this insider trades page, and we'll go full screen on here so we can make it a little bit easier. Yeah, and blind, that's what I'm actually really good at that. So I used a caddy, and that was I would say my strong suit as a caddy. It was never like reading greens or anything like that. I'm good at reading greens, but not amazing. But my best thing was that I had, and I think I still do have, pretty good eyes. So when I was like 13 caddying, like I've never lost a ball. I could tell you, like, oh yeah, it's in that fourth bush over there on the left side of it. Like I just never lost balls. So the people like that. All right, so back to the insider trading page. So it automatically just kind of goes by, date, the most recent trades. Right now, I think we're sorting by multiple insider buys or multiple insider sales. So this is actually interesting. You're seeing, I guess, Mr. What's his name? Jay Farner? Rocket Mortgage. This is bad. Yeah, looks like Jay Farner bought some Rocket stock today. That's interesting. Or actually yesterday. Looks like Jay Farner. Whoa, looks like he bought $13 million. I wonder if we, or not bought it yesterday, but the filing date was yesterday, so the trade date was sometime in here. Hacker. Trading straight from Pro would be amazing. So we're in talks with multiple brokerages to integrate brokerages into Pro. That's been like kind of the number one thing, I think, feedback from Pro users over the last couple of years has been we wish we could trade in it. But obviously once you start incorporating actual trading and all that, there's regulations you have to go through. So let's go. And this is what I did. And I actually did it on multiple different sources to make sure this was correct. So obviously Elon Musk has been selling Tesla stock. And we this is, a common adage in investing, in finance, right? There's a million reasons to sell. There's only one reason to buy. So people sell stock when they need to for a lot of different reasons, for, tax purposes. Maybe they're, making a big real estate investment and they need to free up some cash. There's a million different reasons to sell. Elon's case recently, because he offered to buy Twitter way over its asking price, which is fine. But we know this. We know Elon's been selling. What I didn't know was how little to zero buying there has been, not in Tesla stock just over the last year, but really over the last like 2.5 years. And we'll go through all this. So you might see, so we're just going in chronological order from filing dates. So everything here, it's most recent, August 9th. This is when we found out, 9 days ago that Elon was selling more Tesla. We can go through just chronologically and go back. And you see on here, you might say, hey, Aaron, wait. I see the red bars indicating where someone sold, but I'm seeing green trades as well. Doesn't that mean people are buying? Well, not exactly. So if we go to the type of trade right here, we can see that actually these green trades, and they're green, indicated as bullish, that they're actually options, selling of options. And there's a big difference between having a bullish options trade, especially selling options, versus buying options. And I'll throw that opportunity out to the chat if anyone wants to answer why. Like, why to me, why to producer AB, what I think it's a more bullish sign to see someone buy the stock outright rather than selling options. And it's a pretty, to me, clear-cut, binary, you know, reason that I'm curious, you know, we'll just get a little interactive. I'll throw this out to the chat. There's a little delay, so I'll give you guys, you know, 15, 20 seconds here. Maybe we'll play some Jeopardy music, or here I'll play some tunes. But again, the question is, why would I care more about an insider buying outright common stock of the company than selling options? Yes, Urban Farms Project. We're talking about, we're going to look through all the insider trades over the last 2.5 years. Yeah, I'm not saying that Elon's new news. That's not what we're looking at here. I knew everyone, or not everyone, but I'm saying that was common news. Yep, Jesse, you can call a friend. All right. I'll answer, because I am seeing so there are, you know, obviously type of question where there's not one right answer. But what I was thinking of, and my reason, was because if you think about it, well, right, but on these options trades, you can tell, or we're indicating they're bullish, right? The green indicates they're bullish, option sells. So I assume that means selling puts, right? And so my thought process on it is, if you're putting a bullish trade on there, and that's, again, Rob T, like, that's a true, right, they could just be hedging against their own already existing stock positions. But my thought process, because if you're selling puts, that's technically a bullish trade. You're betting that the stock doesn't go down and reach that price. But if you're selling puts, you could just be very convicted that the stock isn't going to go down, or isn't going to go down a certain amount, right? They could be selling $400 Tesla puts saying, hey, I'm, you know, the CFO of this company. I'm pretty confident our stock's not going to drop 50%. So this is a good trade, because even if it drops 20%, I'm still going to make money on this trade. So selling puts is just saying you don't think the stock's going to go down. Buying the common stock is saying, I think this is going to appreciate over time, right? You buy the stock if you think it's going up. You might sell options just if you think it's not going down. I'd rather invest in something that I think is going up rather than I think, okay, is just not going down. But we'll go through here chronologically till we can find the first outright buy of Tesla common stock over the last couple years. So we have to go back, right? Page 2, nothing. Some more bullish trades on options, but nothing, you know, no one buying. And we can see the prices here. I mean, this is at, you know, $500. You know, there are times in here where they're, you know, it's not like all at $1,000 over the last. So now we're on page 3. We're going back to March 2021 on the filing date. Still no buy. So we're talking about now, you know, 16 months here, going back. Nope. Still going back. So now we're in 2020. And the first buy we can find, wait, hold on. I have to make sure I get this right, because I may have missed one. There's one from Antonio Gracias. It says Gracias. I don't know if that's actually his name or if it's supposed to be Garcias and it's a typo. All right, I'm not going to give you guys bad info. Oh, here we go. Okay, so in filing date April 2021. So you know, more than a year ago, but the trade was in August 18th to November 30th. And so from April 2021, if that's the filing date, this is August 18th or November 30th of 2020. Right? So here, let me pull up Tesla's stock chart and look back to where it was. Go to the 5-year chart. So split adjusted, August 2020, the stock was at $410, gone up 123% since then. That's your last buy from fall of 2020. We are now fall of 2022. And look, I know a lot. Most Tesla executives have, they have already they have stock. They get paid in stock, so it makes sense they're going to hedge their positions. Maybe they don't want to already buy more stock that they already own. I'm not saying, oh my god, that's like, but it's like, if all these people that have more knowledge about the company than we do thought at any time over the past 2 years this stock was undervalued, they'd be buying more of it. So still going back, I mean, now, so outside of that one trade, which really wasn't that significant in terms of size, right? It was a $40,000 trade. When you compare that to the other, million, multi-million, or if you're talking about, in Musk's case, $1 billion trades, not that significant. You have to go back way further till really here, when Larry Ellison and Elon Musk both added Tesla shares right when COVID, right here in February 2020, so right before COVID. And obviously, we don't really need to talk about what the stock's done since then. I mean, they're probably up 1,000% since then, or 500%. So again, I just thought this was really interesting. The fact that, hey, I mean, not a single insider buy. And it's kind of atypical, right? If we go to any other right company, like you go to Apple, right? There's not. Oh wait, all right. This wasn't a good example. I think Apple like did something where they changed the rules about how, because our most recent insider trades on Apple's 2015. Something's wonky there. We can look at other companies' insider trades after we bring on Mr. Steve Kalajyian. So without further ado, I see him hanging out in the background. Let's go ahead and give Steve our very special intro and bring him on. Mr. Collation, how you doing today?
Hey, Aaron. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. I'm doing great.
How's trading been? Were you trading the FOMC yesterday? What have you been up to?
Oh, wow, that was wild. And we had probably one of the best days trading that. We bought we shorted the first real pop. We caught that long, and then we had the shorts above the 03, 04, 05, and then they just settled, down. And then it was really choppy. It was really pretty wild. I think we had about, I don't know, 7 or 8 phenomenal trades in that window in a lot of various different stocks and index futures. Yeah, no, it was a good day yesterday. It's just the minutes, but again, they're talking, kind of hawkish, but the market's shrugging it off though here. You can see it, I mean, we hit that 43.27 and a quarter a couple of days ago. And, we were about 180 points away from my moving average, normally anything over 80. We did get a 70 point, we got down to that 42.55. And we're hovering above that, today we're about 30, 40 handles above that right now. Next thing I know, I think right now we're very choppy. I think that the markets are, I have, big buy signals on the weekly and the dailies right now. So right now, I have to say, I think that there's a 75% chance that the lows are in for the year.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting right now with, I think just trading. People have been saying, we're going to go back and retest those lows. We're going back. And then I think it's interesting to see how over time, like when the price changes, the sentiment kind of changes, right? Like now that we've gotten some positive action, it's like, oh, maybe, I don't know. I mean, I don't think this rally, we're going back to like all-time highs or anything like that anytime soon. But it seems like there's been enough positive action in the markets to give a lot of investors confidence, like you said, that maybe we have seen the lows in already.
Well, look, I'm just saying for this year, I think 2023 is going to be a disaster, but technically, and I'm looking at a range here of the 36.42 level to the 44.50 level on the S&P. So I think we're just going to be back and forth in this range between now and the end of the year. I think September and October, we're going to get these monster pullbacks, but I don't think we're going to make new lows, and I think that there will then get the push up for November, December.
Yeah. And I'll pull up the SPY chart here. We'll go to a daily candles on the SPY. I mean, yeah. So looking right here. I mean, I know last week we were talking about all the, overhead resistance the SPY will run into. Where's the next? What are the next big levels for you here?
Right now on the S&Ps, I'm looking at the 4130 level, then the 4050, 4080 level.
Okay. Um, and then as far as any
I'm sorry,
individual names, do you have any individual names that have been that have that have like interesting setups right now?
I mean, Apple's like $9 away from its moving average. I mean, I think that if you get any significant pullback on Apple, I think you're going to be making higher lows in Apple. I like to play names that haven't been, especially the iPhone 14 is going to be coming out in a few weeks, right? In about a month or so, and I'm already hearing a buzz that people can't wait to get it, right? So if you look at stocks like what else I'm looking at. Boeing's acting phenomenal. Boeing's off that 117 level. I think Boeing on any pullbacks are going to make higher lows. I think Goldman on any pullbacks are going to make higher lows. So these are the names that if you're a trader or an investor or a swing trader, when you do get these big pullbacks I'm expecting in the next few months, these are names that I would be looking to buy for, push back up. I think the lows are in for, I don't think Boeing's going to go near 117 for the year.
Yeah, I mean that was ridiculous seeing Bowen get all the way down there. We're already back up to about 170, but you can see here kind of starting to chop a little bit. Yeah, and so that's an interesting setup.
You got that one gap right there, and then you got the other gap right there around the 124 level. So I'm not saying it's going to get down there, but eventually it will. I think that Boeing is going to make a higher low, and then I think it's obviously it's in the Dow. It's going to go with the market. So even if we did get a pretty big pullback of I don't know, a couple thousand points on the Dow, Boeing could be into the mid 140s, 150 range, and then low 140s, mid 150s in that range, and then I would be just looking at the technicals at that time, but I wouldn't be buying Boeing up here. No way.
Yeah. All right. Well, let me see if we've got any ticker suggestions in the chat that maybe we can check out. Otherwise,
also Cisco, I think Cisco in the next 3 to 5 days is going to set really nicely on the daily charts for a buy.
Cisco, yeah, I think Cisco just reported earnings and beat. Let's go check out Cisco.
Yeah, they were better than expected, and I think that this is even though it looks like a broken chart, I still think on any pullbacks on Cisco, I think that the lows are in for the year, and I think that you can buy and accumulate this on any pullback.
Yeah, look how nicely we filled this gap here. I mean, we gapped down from $50 down to 40, and you gap up from 46 right back up to 50.
Well, I think that gap didn't get filled yet. I think that the next pullback is going to fill that gap.
Okay.
So we get a pullback, and then boom, the next push up should be above 50.
Yeah. I'm seeing OP saying the semis are pushing. Have you checked out NVIDIA, AMD recently?
Yeah, AMD's NVIDIA I wouldn't own up here because I think it's very, very overextended. AMD came off that 71 level, so there's a target of like 102, 103 before I think AMD pulls back. Beautiful pattern we had in AMD off the daily charts a few weeks ago. It ran about 16, 17. So I'm expecting AMD to make higher lows as well. So I'm pretty basically saying that if we do get these pullbacks, I expect in sometime September to going into for a good 5 to 7 weeks. I think that these are names that eventually are going to move the market. NVIDIA, the AMDs, the Boeings, the Goldmans, names like that I'm looking at. Cisco, if you're in the mood for an appetite to buy. I do not think we're going to make new lows this year at all.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, it looks like just in the past, not that this is any indication if we're going to see new lows or not, but since you've been on, I'll pull up the 5-minute candles of the Qs. We're making new highs of looks like at least going back to, we're making new highs of the day on the Qs here, SPY as well. So
I just got a buy reversal on the Qs, and Nasdaq's making new highs. So I got buy reversals here on the indexes, the Qs, the Nasdaq, and the S&P. I'm just waiting for the diamonds and the spiders and the the Russell to see if they follow. Right now, we'll see. But I think the lows are in for today. So I think that well, I'm going to be looking for pullbacks. Now there's a rumor floating around that Ukraine and Russia are like very close to, I guess, some type of a peace talk. So I think that's what's also fueling the short covering rally.
Okay. And so, as you just mentioned kind of short covering rally, do you think there's, I mean, outside of even, hedge funds or any big investors who may be short right now, do you think there's a lot of institutional money that's still kind of on a sideline waiting for any sign that, okay, now's our time to get back in the markets? I know I saw some data from a couple months ago that said there was like the most data or most cash on the sidelines since, in the last 20 years or something.
Yeah, I think that the institution's got to be very careful here. Obviously, we are up over like 600 points on the S&Ps off the low. I think they're, when it got to extremes on there, they were buying down there. I don't know if they're buying up here. I still think there's a lot of uncertainty with the Fed. Is the Federal Reserve really going to overshoot and put this economy into a recession? Again, their mandate was 2%, and they really didn't talk about inflation until it got to 8.5%, 9%. Even though we have a CPI number that dipped 0.2 lower from the prior number, and we're at 8.5. Aaron, 8.5 is staggeringly high for the consumer, for the average person. People are trying to make ends meet, and it's just impossible. I talk to people all around the world, and I'm hearing what gasoline prices are in Brazil or petroleum. I'm hearing people struggling in Europe. It's not a joke. I think that inflation is really a key factor here talking about the American people, but also abroad. And I think that this is a real big factor, coming up here. People are, milk and food and lumber and energy, everything's up. So
I mean, yeah, but looking at the chart of the S&P 500 or whatever you want to look at, I mean, isn't part of what you're talking about how bad inflation is, not just here in the United States but around the world? I mean, it's been known, it's been being talked about. That's part of this. That's part of why we went from 480 down to 360.
But we also went down because of the war and the price of oil shooting up and everything.
Right. All these things. Yeah, I just think to say, oh, inflation's high, as if the market hasn't already priced that. I think I do understand, I guess, people that may be short right now saying, why is the market rallying? 8.5 inflation is still super high. But to me, it's like that. The answer seems obvious. It's like the market cares about what's happening in the future. It's seeing signs that, okay, maybe inflation's getting better, so it's going to respond positively. That makes sense.
One of the five things I've learned when I first started, over close to 40 years ago, is that the market always looks out 6 to 8 months ahead, right?
Right.
So you can't look at it right now. And I never trade with an opinion. I don't trade. Oh, we have a $34 trillion debt. Oh, why is the market going up? I never do. I trade what I see based on the work I have. There's more money to be made that way than having an opinion. Because if you think of an opinion, granted, if somebody's like, oh, we're headed for a default, or you have $34 trillion in debt, you short the S&Ps and they run 500 handles against you. That's real money. I mean, what are you going to do? Just sit there? I'd rather just trade what I see, and then if bad news comes out and the market starts turning for the worse, and then we'll wait for opportunities to short them. So there's more money to hit singles and doubles than looking to do a home run. You know what I'm saying?
100% agreed. And yeah, I mean, and I've seen people, I saw there was a discussion on Twitter the other day of like, where does this rank among the most hated rallies? Like, people were talking about like how, like, there are a lot of people assuming they're short, losing money on it, like why they're mad about it. But it's like, that's where, if you're, like you're saying, like trading on emotion, trading on opinions, and it's like, that's where you get sucked into that. If you're just trading off the numbers, trading off things, and you're able to change your thesis or change your conviction quickly, like you're supposed to be able to, then you're not mad at a rally, because you already got out of your shorts and you're playing it on the upside now.
Yeah, that's why I spent 9 years of my life building my technology. I can see things like that. So there's no reason for me to sit here with an opinion. You know what I'm saying? And over the weekend, I spoke to a good friend of mine. He told me that there's more hedge funds out there, more bearish now than ever. I was like, we're going up.
Right. Like exactly. Like I don't see that as a, and then especially too, you got to think about it like maybe, and I don't really understand, but there were a lot of people short like down here, after we've already been down 30%, whatever, and then you rally and these people that may have been short and getting
Oh,
beaten up on it.
trust me, at 3,900, I heard so many guys saying I'm shorting everything. I'm like, you're crazy. You know,
Right. Like why short now? Why not, when we're already down 30%?
right? You're at 340 handles against you, so or 400 handles against you. That's not serious.
And then you think about those people that were shorting at 39. As it goes up, they're saying, okay, now I got to add to this short position. Now we got to go down. Then we just keep going up. So
they're getting blown up.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, it will be interesting. I think from the last data I saw early August, S&P had the highest short interest since 2020. Like you said, a lot of hedge funds, a lot of institutions are short right here. And again, I don't really. Okay. So right now, if a hedge fund wanted to say, okay, we've rallied 20% off the lows, we're getting a little short here for like a 5% pullback, fine. But that's a lot different than saying, oh, I'm net short. I think the market's going to continue moving lower from here as we're making higher lows.
I agree. The technicals are not saying we're going to make new lows in my work. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I'm in the firm believer you trade what you see, but I mean, these guys got to put on big positions, long end or short. So, I think the game has changed a lot. I think that a lot of people are intraday trading. I think that the volatility and the moves are unbelievable to be a phenomenal day trader in this market. I know people say it's hard to do, but that's what I do. I've done it for close to 40 years. And guess what? I'm teaching it now when all my traders are very successful at doing it, even the beginners. So the point of the matter is that I like to just take an opinion of what I see in the market per se. Like when the S&Ps were trading around the 42, 43, 20, 25, we were buying SPXUs and SDAOs and for a pullback. And when we got that pullback down 60, 70 handles on the S&P, we were selling them, for a nice trade. So I like those type of vehicles when you see extremes, buying or sell. But I think that there's a lot of opportunity each and every day with the volatility that we're seeing.
100%. And so what I'm curious about, Steve, since you've been doing this a while, do you because I heard a lot of people kind of saying like after this pullback and we started moving higher, well, we're not going to see a V-shaped recovery like we saw during COVID. And I'm not saying we're going to, and especially with the Fed, I think the Fed is going to maintain its mandate to fight inflation. I don't think it's going to, start getting delirious here and say, no, we're, bringing rates back to zero or anything crazy like that, which is what we had down here. But it does look like we're getting, if you look back here to the action we were getting down here, it's kind of similar. And basically, I'm just curious, like, do you think like the days are over of, these kind of these kind of long, slow, trudged out like movements on the S&P? Like it seems like the action today is just quicker. Like we're going up quicker, we're going down quicker.
Well, again, I've been doing this close to 40 years. So number one, there's an old saying, you never short a dull market, right? That's one. And two, the volume's down substantially because of the summertime and they're bailing out before the fall comes here. But I just want to take me back to that last chart. If you can just slide over a little right there. So right after we made that low right there in March of 2020, right? And then we climbed up. The only overhead resistance peak that we had was back to the left a little bit, right there. So right there. So once we broke out above that high, we was just clear sailing on the S&P, right?
Right.
Here is a different. This picture does not look like that picture. This picture, I think, is going to take some work, and I think it's going to take some time, and that's why I'm thinking up and down, make higher, and then I think 2023 is a projection point that we can really get hit in 2023 in the second or third quarter, and then I think eventually we'll base out, somewhere to start another new bull market. But from what level, I have no idea. Only right now I care about what happens today.
Yeah, and that's what I think is interesting. So I'm going back to 07, 08 here, and obviously the drawdown was a lot more significant. I mean, we went from 160 down to 60 in the SPY, so way more significant than the drawdown we just had. But what's interesting here is, I mean, looking at how long it took to get back to these '07 highs. I mean, you got to go to like 2013, 2012 before you got back to those highs.
But look what happened. Look what happened. It's exactly what I said is going to happen, right? You're going to keep making higher lows.
Right. So you think there is a chance that with something like this, it might take us a year, 2 years to get back to these all-time highs. It's not going to be as quick.
It could take 2 to 3 years. Yeah. When that's going to start, when the Fed starts like loosening, not in the more tightening phases.
Right. And that's what I think will be interesting, because I do think, I think, to expect, we're going to be back at all-time highs by the, like that's kind of ludicrous. But I wouldn't be surprised if when it's all said and done, like that move back to all-time highs is quicker, because it does seem like it's a different trading environment, like a different Wall Street where things are moving quicker.
Because when you have massive funds that are short, I tell people all the time, I've been doing this, like I said, for the third time in close to 40 years. When you get short covering rallies, they're more vicious than bull market rallies.
Yeah, and that's why when we talked about this, it's like all the best days on S&P history have been during bear markets.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, I've survived. Well, I mean, I've been in bear markets. I've been in crashes. I'm in bull market rallies, and I'll tell you, they go up a lot faster in bear market rallies than they do in bull market rallies.
100%. All right, I'm going to give the chat a second to ask about any stocks, any questions. I'm seeing KHH asking, can you ask him about Roblox, please, and China stocks like Baba, Neo, JD, and Snap? I don't think...
I don't really follow those names, but I can look really quickly. Although that's the chart right there.
This is Roblox. Yeah, Roblox is one of those high Kathy Wood flyers. Got to $140, went down all the way to 25. I mean, so you do the math on that. 140 to 25. That was like an 88% drawdown.
Yeah. So what do I think of it right now? I think that probably that the lows are in, and that it's going to base. But if you think you're getting back above 100, you're absolutely crazy.
Agreed. And then as far as the Chinese stocks, I mean, I haven't really been checking these out, but I mean, here I would just say with these Chinese stocks, you have a lot more risk involved. I mean, you can just tell, like Baba's a lot closer to its lows than.
I think Baba's gonna. I think, look at that chart in Baba. I mean, that's a nightmare right there, right? And it's showing you it's making lower highs, and it's continually dropping like a ladder all the way down, right? And eventually, this is going to take years to base. It's going to take years to base. But I think there's so many better names to play than the Chinese stocks. Like, why would you want to trade that when you can have great names like, Goldman or Boeing on pullbacks and things of that nature, or the ETFs? Why would you want to play this name? Is my point, right? But it's a good question. I mean, I just don't think I would put my money in this at all.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what I'm saying. Like, look at Baba's chart compared to Apple's chart. Why do you think Apple's, almost back at all-time highs, basically back at all-time highs, and Baba's at its 5-year lows?
Hold on one second. Hold on. I think that overall, I think that I would not want to be an Alibaba stock. Period.
All right, last one for the day, Steven. I'll let you go. PayPal.
Okay, let me look at PayPal. PayPal here looks like you're gonna get one more push down again. It's not something that I think there's better names out there. I would not want to buy this PayPal here. I think there's a drop, coming. Maybe it gets back, above this 80 level again, but I wouldn't want to buy PayPal here at all. It's going to take years, Adam, for this to base out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, I do think if there's some names like PayPal and Square are pretty similar, that if you absolutely love them long term and they're down 70% still, and you want to add some shares and hold on to them for 10 years, go ahead. But as far as a trade, like you're saying, it wouldn't surprise me to see them, trading down here, even making, coming down a little bit further. So it all depends on your time horizon for me.
Yeah, I would not exactly. I think that there's better names to play.
And like Jeff Strong is saying, there's just so much competition in fintech now. There's a new app and a new thing every day.
The party's over here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Party's over.
The interest rates have just been, are going to kill these. All right, Steve, man, always good to get you on. Sorry, I'm just catching up on the chat. Good thing that Elon sold PayPal to build Tesla. Yeah, I think that was a good business decision on his part.
That was a great trade.
Great trade. All right, man. Any final words, final thoughts for us today?
What are we doing here now? Just setting up. No, it's just a little choppiness, but I think the lows are in for the day.
All right. Slow choppiness, lows in from the day. You heard it first from Mr. Steve Kalajyian. If you want more, tradeeasy.com. I'll go ahead and drop that link in the chat. Steve, again, always a great setup and always a pleasure to get you on.
Thanks, Aaron, and have a great day, everybody. Thanks again. Bye-bye.
See you next week. All right, guys, that was Mr. Steve Collation. TradeEasy.com. Link is in the chat. And yeah, I think you can hit him up on that TradeEasy.com for his trading programs. Again, I like to bring on a variety of guests, a variety of different traders. Some guys might be more, my age, mid-20s, and we trade options, and we really do what we see, and we might have some good ideas. That doesn't mean we have the experience. So I like to bring on guys like Steve, like guys like David Green that have years experience doing this. And then we can learn, learn stuff from them. Take what you like out of their trading strategies and incorporate them into your own. Doesn't mean you need to do, word for word, trade for trade, what, Steve Kalajyian's doing or what David Green's doing. You can pick and choose which things you like. Going back to Tesla, to anyone just joining us, because I always worry that, what if someone clicked on the YouTube title in the last 20 minutes and we haven't talked about Tesla, and they're like, oh my God, this guy's not talking about Tesla. So basically, bottom line, we went through it. No insider buys over the last year. The first one you can find, you have to go back to the most recent buy of common stock was fall 2020. You do have some bullish option sells, but that can be people selling puts, just saying, I don't think the stock's going to go down, not necessarily thinking the stock's going to go up. And really, this isn't that significant of a purchase compared to the other insider trades. You have to go back even further to around before the COVID crash to find the last time that there were a lot of significant insider buys at Tesla. Just finding that interesting. I've been pretty open about my, I think, kind of thought processes on Tesla and Elon Musk over the last year or so. And it's honestly less about what I think, because I've kind of long been on not like anti-Elon train, I would say, but just to where I kind of disagree with the tropes portrayed in the media about him being like the smartest person in the world. I think he's really smart. I think he's a great businessman, but I don't know if a lot of what people say are true. And so I've been open about how I sold Tesla stock. People were asking if I regretted it the other day, and it's like, yeah, I mean, I think anyone, if they sold something at 680 and then it goes up to 900 would regret it. I mean, it'd be silly not to, but I knew when I sold it that was a possibility. And I also am still a Tesla shareholder. I just don't hold as many Tesla shares. But this was interesting. So we talked about the insider buys. Basically, that is a red flag to me. To see 2.5 years of no significant insider buys at a company that is supposedly growing at a great rate. I mean, it just doesn't make sense, right? Yeah. And so this was yesterday. I was walking out of our office building, here one Campus Martius, and there's a bunch of other offices in here. It's actually a Microsoft office, and I think these guys work for Microsoft. I was walking out of the revolving doors toward the parking lot. These guys were walking by, and they were talking about Tesla stock. And I literally like stopped, turned around, and I was like, "Oh, you guys talking about Tesla stock?" And I was wearing my Benzinga shirt. I was like, "I work at Benzinga." They're like, "Oh, you know Benzinga?" And I was like, "Yeah." Like, what were you guys? And the guy was like, "Oh, I was talking about how I sold my Tesla stock." And I was like, "Oh, no way! I did too, like a month ago." And I was like, "How come?" And he said, "I haven't liked how Elon's acted over the last year." And we started kind of talking about it because he's a guy who's like in technology. He has a Tesla. And he also said not only did he sell Tesla stock because he didn't like how Elon was asking, but he said he has a Tesla, has had the Tesla, and is going to get a different EV the next car. Which I know this has been covered by, Wall Street Journal and some other outlets, that there have been people in the past 6 months or so that have said, "Oh, I'm not buying a Tesla next because of Elon." But what was interesting talking to this guy was we both kind of like laughed at, like, most of the time when people sell a stock, it's because they think the company's going to be in trouble, the earnings aren't going to be as good, there's increased competition, whatever it is. But he was saying he directly sold the stock because he didn't like how Elon had been asking. And I talked to him, got his name. He's going to come down to the Benzinga office sometime. And I was like, yeah, like I'd love to, I would need to do more gathering. Like I would need to find probably like 4 other people that are like in his shoes, people that either maybe sold Tesla stock or are like not going to buy a Tesla car just because they don't like the way Elon's been acting. But I think that'd make like an interesting story. Like there are multiple people out here. That was basically like verbatim what I did. And so basically my point is, I mean, if that ends up being across the board, like something that's happening, and again, like very anecdotal, it's probably 1 in every 100 Tesla car owners or 1 in every 100 Tesla shareholders. I don't know what the data is. I don't know what the number is, but it was just interesting to me, like seeing that, because I see that on Twitter, you see it on Reddit, like, oh, Elon's annoying, like I'm gonna sell my Tesla, or Elon's annoying, I'm not gonna buy a Tesla. But to see it like or hear it in real life was interesting. For every Aaron, there's exactly, yeah. And I think honestly that's I think honestly that's what part of how I kind of got to the point where it was more like less about Elon annoying me and more about like the Elon fanboys, where it's like it just frustrates me as a shareholder, as an investor. I'm a shareholder of multiple different auto manufacturers, right? I own shares of Ford. I own shares of GM. I own shares of Tesla. None of the other companies, none of Ford, GM, they can't get away with saying this car is going to come out by X date and then just not deliver on it. But for Tesla, it's fine. And I think it's happened so many times, and it's become, just accepted over the fact that like that. And it hasn't, it rubs me the wrong way. A pony boy pawn soldier. I don't know. I really don't know what that means. Exactly. I think most people most people that buy Tesla, both the stock or the car, are doing so because of Elon. Right. They buy Tesla stock not for the fundamentals, not for the delivery numbers or the revenue, but because they believe in Elon and because they believe in the mission. 100%. Elon is a modern day corporate raider. Go learn about his past business practices. I think you'll be shocked. I don't know. I mean, I would say that like one thing that I do, yeah, actually, Josh, I want to talk about that too. So corporate raider, like when I think corporate raider, I think Carl Icahn, I think like activist investor. Elon Musk's past business, I mean, he didn't even found Tesla. He's only able to consider himself a co-founder of Tesla because he like worked that into some contract stipulation when he bought the company, and they went to court over it in like 2009. He joined the company like a year after Tesla was founded, and he got pushed out of X.com, of PayPal. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of frustrating. I think to me also the thing that I think got me was like, and like politics aside, your views on the government aside, it was just really rich for like during COVID, Elon to be talking about how the government shouldn't have any say in business and all that when he's literally benefited from like more than probably anyone on earth in terms of government policies and subsidies. Like if you go back and look, and then not even just for Tesla, but for Solar City, for basically all his business ventures, if you look back and see what kind of like tax breaks and subsidies and things that were possible just because of California law. Yeah. What up, Nick Brown? Hanging out in the chat. We will get Nick Brown on in a few minutes. Oh, shoot. Are people listening to me talk about Tesla? Look at the 5-minute candle here. Yeah, and Shelly, I think too, like I think I can bro, I talked about the Tesla insider trades. We brought on Steve Kalajyian. Steve Kalajyian left like literally 7 minutes ago. Been waiting for Luke, so talking about Elon since then, because that's what the title's about, MJ. And that's why I said I don't want people who have clicked on this. But I will say I'm pretty. I would actually say like I obviously I'm probably more outspoken against Elon than most people. But I would say I'm pretty like objective, like level ground. Like I read Ashley Vance's Elon's book, which basically I'm not gonna get too vulgar with it, but basically it just blows smoke up Elon's ass for 300 pages. And then I've listened to podcasts and read articles that talk about, where he's been kind of fraudulent in some of his claims. So it's like, I get both sides of it. Like I get how someone can be a true visionary and a genius and like be doing great things and also be a narcissist and rub people the wrong way. Steve Jobs was actually similar in that way too. Like if you read Walter Isaacson's biography of Steve Jobs, he was like a dick. Like he wasn't a nice person. Like his daughter I'm not saying if I had to pick one or the other to like run a company I was investing in, I'd pick Steve Jobs over Elon, I think. But they're kind of similar in the sense that they both had visions and they said, I don't care what people think. I'm going to go after this vision. And if you get in my way and we make enemies, so what? Elon saying Crypto the Only saying he manipulated markets. I don't know. I mean, we'll see what happens with that Dogecoin lawsuit. Probably nothing. I don't think there's any existing SEC laws over existing SEC laws about Dogecoin. We'll see. But all right, guys, I do have our next special guest, Mr. Luke Jacoby. Oh, there we go. I was gonna say our stream deck isn't working, so I can get him on stream. Luke, how are we doing today?
What is going on, guys? We're doing okay.
Just okay?
Markets have been decent, man. I'll take it. You agree or no?
I mean, in the last 20 minutes or so, we've had a nice little sell-off.
I saw it. That's a today thing.
Is there any?
But I'm like your long-term fundamental guy.
Yeah, you're my long-term fundamental guy.
That's why. They're making decent money. What's on the radar today? You want to throw me some symbols or how we want to hit it?
We can open it up to the chat. I'm curious if the chat has any, trades, any stocks specifically they've been watching this week. Of course, kind of winding down on in terms of earnings season. So, not as much in terms of earnings. We did have Cisco report and beat. But yeah, man, pretty slow news day, to be honest with you.
Pretty slow news day. Should we just go talk big tech stocks again? I feel like that's what we've done the last few quarters.
Yeah, we've talked. I feel like the past.
Or the last few sessions.
I feel like the past few sessions we've talked Netflix, we've talked Meta. So let's talk. I wonder. We haven't really talked semis. I don't think anything interesting there to you. Or what about autos?
All right, yeah, let's do autos.
Let's do autos. So we were just talking about Tesla. We could talk about which, by the way, the bottom line, the title of the show is about Tesla. You have to go back to February 2020, the last time there were any outright purchases, or I'd say like significant purchases of insiders' common stock at Tesla.
Okay. Sure, but can we just talk broader about autos, I guess, first?
Yeah, I was just telling you that's what the title of today's show is about.
Okay. I think that autos are more or less dead money. Maybe not with like a growth stock, like a Tesla or a Neo, where there's market share. But for the stocks that are going to move as the industry moves, like I'm thinking Ford, Toyota, General Motors, I'm not about it. And here's the general sentiment: is if we go back, and this is one that like hits us hard at home, being here in Detroit. You go back to 2008, 2009 recession. The big three were making their pleas to the government to get bailed out. And the story that they kept telling is, okay, you bailed out people with mortgages, people's homes, their next biggest asset, the next biggest thing that they spend money on by a long shot after their house is their vehicle. And so we haven't seen consumer spending pull back yet, but it's going to. And when we're looking at where is it going to pull back, I think that's one of the places that it's going to pull back. You also have the China-Taiwan conflict hanging over our heads. There are a lot of people. I think that it's not going to happen, but there are a lot of people who are saying that China could make a move on Taiwan this year. If that happens, that's not good. Again, I don't think that that's going to be the case, but it's something that's up in the air. And then let's also talk about the valuations for these stocks. Right, the valuations aren't great. These are not cheap stocks that we're bottom picking right now. If you're betting on these stocks, you're betting on sales to improve. I don't really see a pathway for that to happen right now. What's your read?
I disagree with about autos being dead money. I think there's certain companies, certain stocks that maybe, and I hate to say it, but I do think a lot maybe of the American auto manufacturers are maybe in a worse position. I think so. I have Toyota's stock chart pulled up here on the monthly candles going back to 2000, and like you said, I mean, there's certainly, I mean, even if you would have bought Toyota in 2015, right, you'd be flat or you'd be underwater for 5 years.
Basically, until the COVID bump that everybody got.
Right, exactly. So I get that. Like, and I think
look at Ford. The same thing.
I know. That's why I was looking at Toyota, because it's not one of the. But basically, my point was, I think there are probably always going to be more interesting and better investment opportunities out there. But
you're not getting a great dividend yield either.
Right. And if you're looking at Ford or you're looking at Toyota, I will say there are, just looking at the chart, you can see times where you could have bought in it and made a few bucks. So, I mean, like right now, for me, Toyota, like kind of interesting. 160, highs of 215. Like, I don't know. Like, if someone gave me a good bullish case on Toyota, I could be talked into it. Because like you said, the market share thing, I don't know. I wonder what the projections are for Tesla's EV, like compared to Toyota. Because like Toyota's going to put out an all-electric Corolla in 3 years. Like, who's to say that's not the most popular EV out there?
Yeah, but they need so much margin, dude. I mean, the margins are so tight on those vehicles, and they need to sell so many of them to make a significant dent. Like, the amount of market share that they would need to move is crazy.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. So
Josh Pitts is saying Toyota is a robotics play.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm not sure. But generally speaking, I mean, let's ask this to the chat. I was going to say, I think that everybody agrees that consumer spending is going to decrease at some point in the next 12 months. We really haven't seen it yet.
I disagree.
Earnings were strong, man. Guidance was pretty good as well. That's really what kicked off this bull run that we're having. All right, if we want to talk about all these reasons why the bull run is kicking off, we speculate about Federal Reserve. I mean, the real truth is that these stocks have gotten beaten up. They reported better than expected earnings. All the estimates were revised lower. They didn't come in lower as expected. They came in where they were before the revisions. They guided fine. That's the move.
Well, okay, so one thing that I think is interesting in terms of the consumer.
But I want to ask this: if you think that consumer spending is going to decrease at some point in the next year, put a 1 in the chat. If not, put a 2.
I mean, I just don't.
And then if you put that 1 in the chat, the only way that I think that you can buy an automaker is if for some reason you believe that the amount of market share that they're going to take is crazy.
But why, like, to me, saying like I think consumer spending is going to, like, is that just off like feeling numbers?
All the free money's gone, man. There was so much free money for so long.
Right.
It's still out there. There's still a ton of dry powder. right? There's a lot of debt that was taken with no interest rates. Now we're what, 6 months into having interest rates? Not all that cash has been spent down yet or worked its way out of the system yet.
You're just talking about in the general economy, right?
Yes, in the broader economy.
I just know so going back to like if you look at the chart of which I honestly maybe as an alumna you can explain to me more than I can, but I don't really understand why we care so much about the UMISH consumer sentiment. But what was interesting was we've been talking about inflation for like a year, right? We've known inflation's been ticking up for about a year. The consumer sentiment from like the UMISH report has been dipping that whole time, but consumer spending has remained steady, if not risen.
That's what I'm saying, man. You're saying it's a good thing. I'm saying it's a bad thing.
No, I'm saying that now the consumer sentiment's starting to tick back up. People people are paying less for gas. People are starting to feel better about the economy. So to say that now people are going to start spending less, I disagree with. I don't think I've seen any data that corroborates that. I get why people feel that way. Like they I don't know. There's been so much talk about recession and inflation that people like feel bad. But at the end of the day, like that's why we've had this.
And like the core of my thesis, though, again, is that there was so much cheap and free money for so long. Right? Like the most obvious case is, and this is going a little ways back now, is we got mailed checks, physical checks. Remember Donald Trump signed checks? Or did you get direct deposit?
I got direct deposit.
Oh, you missed out.
Dude, do you know, like, he fought to have his name on the check, which is such a bad
I know.
move. He was like, no, I'm not sending these checks out unless my name's on it.
Yeah, we got one mailed to our house.
So, okay, I get
but like the broader context is the zero interest rate environment and all the free capital that floats around.
Well,
from that.
and we can
the
bring
dry powder is still
we
out
can bring
there.
it back specifically to cars. I mean, just with the interest rates, people's
there you go,
like
same thing. Purchasing power.
People's monthly car payments are higher with interest rates, but if you look at the data, it's by like $22 on average. Like it doesn't. It's more significant, I think, in terms of mortgage rates and buying homes and stuff.
Yeah, but think about this. Is it $22 a month, I'm assuming you're saying?
Yeah.
It's a 5% increase. It's not like it's crazy, but on a percentage basis, it's decent. It's greater
It's
than
going to
zero.
price some people out, but I just don't, again, like, I don't know. Like, we'll see it. Like, there's already, I think, lesser demand for new cars, and we'll probably see car prices, like, continue to drop. But I don't know. I think we'll need to wait and see over... Because consumer spending drops across the board, that's probably going to be, in tandem with another lower GDP quarter. Like it's basically going back to the recession debate. Are we heading to a recession or not? If you think no, then consumer spending probably stays pretty steady, if not rises. If you think yes, we are heading to a recession, then you're right, and consumer spending will drop.
Can we talk about GameStop for a second?
Of course. Ticker GME.
All right, did anything ever happen with GameStop? Did we ever get like a new business plan or anything?
No. We're still waiting on the chewification of GameStop.
Isn't that weird?
I'm with Mike here.
What did Mike say?
Long live MMT.
Wait, what's MMT?
Modern monetary theory.
Okay.
Basically saying you can keep interest rates lower and it won't lead to inflation. The Japan model.
So we literally never got anything from GameStop?
No.
What the hell?
I mean, didn't the company like raise a lot of capital through all this?
I don't know if they sold stock or not. Let me look at the balance sheet. All right. Cash and short-term assets. That's what we're looking for. Yeah, they did raise some money. They raised, I don't know. It looks like maybe about $1 billion. We got $1 billion on the balance sheet now. That ain't great. Oh my god, if they have to do another capital raise, it's gonna be catastrophic. All right, what is operating cash flow this most recent quarter? Cash from oh my god. All right, they got $1 billion on the balance sheet, AB. Okay. I'm just telling you, that's a fact.
$1 billion.
$1 billion on the balance sheet.
Valley.
Last quarter, their cash flow from operations is negative $300 million.
And shit, like.
Yeah, dude. Okay, well, you know what's like all the it's so interesting. Like Microsoft, when they came out and gave earnings, like they gave really bad guidance on their video game. Like they basically said like Xbox and our gaming division is like what's struggling the most, and GameStop stock never really like took a hit from that.
Oh, they did. Wait, they did make moves with NFTs. That's right.
Okay, I forgot about that.
They did make that move.
Oh, what about the gold?
Wait,
what
read
about the
their-
gold mining. Oh wait, no, that was AMC.
Wait, go to their investor relations site right now. Oh God.
All right.
I brought it up as the stock is really cheap.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. Let's go back to Benzinga Pro.
But no, go to their no. Okay, fine, wherever. Somehow just pull up their earnings released. It's like the shortest earnings PR I've ever seen in my life.
All right, wait, here we go.
You want the earnings PR?
I just don't understand. Oh, I guess price to sales less than 2. Is it cheap? I don't know.
It's pretty cheap.
Their
But again, if they have to raise money within the next year,
last quarterly report.
yeah, just look at earnings release right over there, HTML. That's it.
It's all disclosure. It's mostly disclosure.
Yeah, no, you got.
All right, so we've got net sales.
That's it.
1.37 billion.
But my point is, there's nothing there, dude.
Yeah.
When does that happen?
The wallet extension will enable transactions on GameStop's NFT marketplace upon its intended. So if you only have 6 bullet points in your first quarter overview, and your biggest bullet point is about your NFT thing, that's a red flag to me.
Yeah, I mean, just for comparison, go to like Ford Investor Relations or something,
Okay.
and take a look at that earnings report.
Financials and filings.
Let's just see how long it is. I have not looked at this.
Oh,
We
wait.
were just talking autos. That's why I picked one.
It's a different. I mean, it's like 16 pages.
Okay, there you go.
Overviews. You know, look at the notes compared to.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Actually, no. This is a transcript of the call, though, so it's not exactly the same. I clicked on the wrong thing. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not long GameStop here. Sorry, guys. Sorry, apes. I'm not shorted either.
I am long it in a small way.
Well, I guess I own some.
wanna believe,
I
man.
own some VTI, so I guess technically I'm
Yeah,
long
I
it.
am long it in a small way. Just again, I want to believe.
But
But I can't believe we didn't get anything. That sucks.
the dude saying, "Bro, y'all are hedges trying to hate on GME. Glad I didn't like or become a sub."
All right. Well, I am long the stock.
What's
and
your
down.
what's your short position?
I'm long from 53.
What's your short position on GameStop?
All right. That was one that I wanted to hit amid the Bed Bath and Beyond.
All right, catching up on the chat. Apes went banana on DDD last night. Yeah, DDD's made some enemies with the ape community, but it's hard sometimes to please everyone.
Did you all see that Bloomberg put out a hit piece on AMC yesterday?
Really?
Yep. It was basically that the CEO has kept the share price high with antics and gimmicks and that sort of thing. How much longer is this going to last?
I mean, Adam Aaron, he's up there for CEO of the year, right? Making moves, gold mining companies,
Yeah.
going on TV with his pants off.
Yep.
You name it, Adam Aaron will. If you tell Adam Aaron like say this, and people will like you don't even need to explain. We could make up a new thing like NFTs and tell him it's like the new thing, and he'll be talking about AMC's new business model next week.
Yeah.
How about the like?
While we're on auto, should we talk about Carvana?
Yeah, let's do it. Do you know what my favorite? I guess antics, if you want to use that word. My favorite, like desperate plea for retail investors from AMC was
What?
when they were like, "Yeah, you can buy popcorn and shit with Dogecoin at our theater." Like, there's no way that's a good business model.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's tons of stuff like that.
Who's going to AMC and buying their tickets in Dogecoin? All right, Carvana here. So if you guys aren't familiar, Carvana is the like online marketplace for used and new cars. I think mostly used cars. I know them as the place with the cool little
Car
car
vending
vending
machines.
Yeah, that's the best marketing decision made ever. I wouldn't know what Carvana is if it weren't for those things.
Yeah. I think Carvana, it's a really tough play right now. The stock is really hard to look at from a valuation perspective because its earnings are so negative. Right? Like they basically had revenue of, let's call it 400 million. So that's their revenue, like their cut of the transactions, not the gross volume of cars sold, but that's like their cut of the transactions. So they made 400 million. How much do they lose once after you take out all their expenses?
I don't know. Where do I
Last
go?
quarter.
Cash flow, income statement.
I got the answer if you
Oh,
just want
okay.
to guess.
Oh, how much did
I'm
they,
looking at their net income
how
right
much
now.
did they lose last quarter?
We're gonna get normalized income.
They
Even
lost
better. 400 million in revenue.
Okay. Oh, they did 400 million in revenue?
Yeah.
All right, they spent 1.5 billion for that 400 in revenue, so they lost 1.1 billion.
No, not that bad. All right, now maybe I'm bullish.
Okay. That's like Uber. Uber was like, "Oh, we finally turned a profitable quarter."
They,
It's like, how much money
lost
did you
240.
spend?
They lost 240. 240 million.
Okay.
All right. But regardless, it makes it really tough to look at from a valuation perspective. Here's what. Can you pull up their financials? Can you pull up the income statement, please?
I'm already on it.
All right, and give me a zoom. You got gross profit there.
Gross profit 396 million.
All right, what was it before that?
298.
Before that?
516.
Before that?
523.
Before that?
552.
That's not your friend.
What? You don't want to see those numbers going down?
No.
Oh, okay.
Before that?
338. I mean,
There
this
you
is
go.
when the car market went crazy during COVID, though. It's like a lot of that growth got pulled forward. It's the same thing with like Zoom. Like Zoom's gonna make Moderna's gonna make a lot more.
Yeah,
more money
man.
in
So
those
I mean, they had
quarters.
3 quarters in a row where they did over a billion and a half. You would expect that the summer period to be the more active time. It could be winter. It's really tough to stay looking at the company's historical financials, what their seasonality looks like, just because it's been so volatile and the growth was so there, and then the growth was so not there. Pull up the stock chart on this. Have you looked at this one recently?
Wait, just before we started talking about it.
It's brutal.
I mean, it's brutal, but
What do you? How is that not brutal?
Hold on, because if you zoom
360 to 47. That's brutal.
you clearly bottomed out here at 20. Like it was not budging. It was not going anywhere below 20, and you're up 100% since then from 20 to so yeah. If you just started buying this in July, good job. But
Yeah.
the chart's ugly. Chart's ugly.
So-
No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Went from 370 to 20. Went from $370 to $20.
Yeah, so here's my take on it. You do pay a premium when you buy a car with Carvana. If we do see spending go down, we're gonna see auto purchases go down. We're gonna see price of cars go down, and I would expect Carvana to be more impacted than other channels.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sorry, I'm doing oh my god. I want to take a crash course on being able to like read and understand all the economic data, cuz like when you look at the raw data from like the Bureau of Labor Statistics and stuff, it's like so impossible to discern like what the takeaways are. Oh, Luke, we haven't talked about we haven't talked about in the show since you've been on. What do you think?
Then can we make a bet after as our last thing? I got a good bet for you.
Yeah, we can make a bunch of bets. We can make as many bets as you
Okay.
want. And I know my buddy Nick Brown's gonna hop on, so I'm gonna send him the link right now.
Okay.
We haven't talked about Mr. Adam Newman.
What about Adam Newman?
Do you have any thoughts on the new? Did you hear the news last week?
Nope.
Okay, so you know who Adam Newman is?
Mm.
I'll give you a quick rundown. So WeWork guy.
Oh yeah.
he-
No, I know.
Okay, so
He raised money. He raised a shit ton of money for a new venture.
yes,
Well, from SoftBank.
yes, or
That he burned?
No, Andreessen Horowitz.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Andreessen
Okay, yeah.
Horowitz. He got
SoftBank. I thought it
he
was
got a bill.
SoftBank for a second. I'm like, I don't know how they cut him
love
back in.
this. This is like my favorite thing in finance. Are these guys like Martin Shkreli or even like Michael Saylor? Like Michael Saylor, like
How was Shkreli?
burned. He never came on. Yeah, he ghosted. We'll get the
We'll
problem.
get him.
Yeah, we'll get him. We'll get Shkreli. Like Michael Saylor, MicroStrategy in 2000 was like a multi-billion-dollar company. It went down to like zero. He's like, oh, we'll do it again. Like Adam Newman, like you get to run it back. If you're a dude who loses like more than $1 billion, you're guaranteed another opportunity to manage a lot of money.
Yep.
I don't understand it.
I don't think I would take it.
You don't think you would take the money if you were him?
Nope.
he's gonna revolutionize.
I would go open a local ice cream shop, keep myself busy. He made hundreds of millions of dollars already. I'm good.
It's funny.
The stress of trying to run it again. Come on, you tried. All right, you want my bet?
Yeah, let's make the bet.
All right, next Thursday,
Okay.
Pre-market.
Okay.
What stock that we've talked about a lot over the past 2 years is going to be reporting earnings?
Stock we've talked about a lot over the last 2 years. You said
Yes.
carparts.com.
No, I mean it could be. That's not the one I'm thinking of.
Can you
Let
give
me check.
Who
No,
else?
it's not.
Who else reports next week? I don't know.
Peloton.
Oh man,
Pull up the Peloton chart.
I can't go along this, man. I'm sorry.
I'll let you pick first.
Did you see their most recent news headline?
Yes.
What was it?
The another round of layoffs.
Oh no, that's not what I was talking about.
Okay.
They're now going to start selling their bikes.
To build your own.
Yeah, like, that can't be a good sign.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. All right, so you want me to just pick up or down off the earnings? So here's the problem: is I can't be bullish this at all. But there's like, what could Peloton possibly say in this earnings report that makes the stock move lower? Like they're already laying people. They've already laid people off. The inventories they've already said is a problem. They're already trying to do like build your own bikes.
I want it long into the earnings report.
Okay.
Which way do you want it?
I don't want to be long this stock.
This is not like a real position trade.
No, I know. I'll be short into it because the company's screwed. I don't believe in it. But
are you gonna be pissed if you get short?
Yeah.
Like what do you want?
I wouldn't actually buy puts on this because, like I'm saying,
all right.
There's nothing the stock could say that's gonna make the stock move
Yeah,
lower.
I'll let you pick your direction.
The bar is on the floor. The bar is on the ground. No, you want to be long it in earnings, so you'll be long. I'll be short.
Yep.
That's just what would scare me about being short legitimately into this is that the bar is quite literally on the floor for Peloton. It's basically like, I don't know, like it might be expected to go out of business at this point. Like if they say anything remotely that could be construed as good, the stock will go up 100%.
Yeah, they already basically pre-reported on August, or they didn't pre-report, but they got a lot of bad news out on August 12th. They have the new CEO in there.
There you go.
Yeah, I think the new CEO is going to come out and say some awesome stuff.
You know, really be inspiring. That's a new CEO's job. You got to come in and just pump people up.
Yep. All right, so you want it higher?
No. I'll take it lower. You'll take it higher.
I want it higher.
I know.
But if you want it higher, you can have it higher.
No. I want it lower. I don't like the company. I wouldn't invest in it. I'm just saying I could foresee that scenario where
all right, then I have to buy $1,000 of calls, you have to buy $1,000 of puts. Just kidding.
There's way more alpha in the calls there too.
Yeah.
All right, what about
we got a new chatter in there.
I know. What about so we did that bet. What about one sports bet for the weekend? We've got a full slate of here, let's pull this
preseason
up. NFL preseason schedule. We'll look at this. Oh, look, today, perfect. Seahawks, Bears. Can we get a gambling line on it? I wonder what the over/under is here.
Yeah, I can grab it for you. Give me a second.
We'll do tonight's game.
Wait, Seahawks, Bears. That might be two of the worst teams in the league.
Wait, no. I feel like this happened. Yes, I feel like I was literally watching this game last night.
No, you were not. You were watching Mitch Trubisky on the Steelers, I think.
So the Seahawks weren't playing last night? That's what you're telling me?
All right. So we want NFL. All right, NFL preseason. Bears plus 3.5. Seahawks are supposed to win.
Okay. At home in Seattle. What's the over/under? 36.5?
39.5.
39.5. I think we take the under. I hate to say it. Preseason game?
I sort of think we do too. It sucks.
Preseason
But
game?
who wants to bet the under?
No one. But it's
No
a preseason.
one.
It's going to be like the third string quarterback.
I know. I don't want to bet the under on 40 points.
All right, fine. All right, we'll decide.
I'll take Seahawks money line maybe. Let me see what
Stay
it is.
tuned. Stay tuned on our YouTube.
Seahawks money line is minus 182. That's horrible as well. Oof.
Hey. Now the Lions. That's not true. The Lions are going 8-9 this year. Book it. You can take that to the bank.
You think so?
Peloton would jump if Elon. That'd be kind of. What if? Yeah, Elon could buy Peloton. He's already buying Twitter. All right, Luke. I got to bring on my buddy Nick. You want?
All right. Happy trading, guys.
Peace.
Peace.
Oh wait, we're gonna get a new camera. Go back to the close. There we go. All right, guys, let's bring on my good friend Nick Brown. We've got about 9 minutes left. He said he's got some notes ready of some news stories he's been watching. Let's give him our special intro and bring him. Mr. Brown, how you doing today?
I'm good. It's Thursday. We're rounding out the week shortly, hopefully a little bit quicker.
Yeah. What have you been watching? What news stories?
Yeah, so we got some earnings, Target, Lowe's, Kohl's, Estee Lauder. Got a learnings. Got some news stories. We were talking about interesting conversation with Peloton because within just a few weeks ago, they come out and announced that they were going to be cutting the building. I think you were going to have to build the Peloton yourself. So I wouldn't be surprised. I'm just going to put this out there now because of what we've seen with Bed Bath & Beyond, AMC, GME. I wouldn't be surprised if Peloton somehow gets hyped up on Wall Street bets and they start pumping this stock very soon before earnings or heading into earnings. Just going to put that out there. I wouldn't be surprised if this company, because this company does need money, I think, like a lot of these small companies, because of so much cost cutting, with them cutting jobs and much more. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some kind of hype on Wall Street bets.
Yeah. I mean, it is interesting right now because we've gotten kind of this resurgence of these names, whether you're talking about Bed Bath & Beyond, whatever, that have gotten a lot of interest, like you mentioned, from Wall Street Bets and other online trading communities over the last few months. So some of these names that, from a company standpoint, look the ugliest, right? Bed Bath & Beyond, Peloton, or whatever, could actually end up being good trades. Who knows?
Yeah, who really knows? And with the Ryan Cohen stuff, we're gonna have to really watch how that plays out. See what Wall Street Bets does. See how the stock reacts. I know there's a lot of confusion on Twitter. Last night, my Twitter feed was blowing up because I said he files to sell. I mean, let's just be honest, Aaron. You just wouldn't file for nothing. You're just not going to file, oh, I may sell here in 90 days. I think that's some kind of implication that he is going to sell. David Faber has said on CNBC that he cannot independently confirm, but sources have told him that people wouldn't be surprised if he already sold. So we're going to have to really watch how this plays out.
Yeah. As far as any other, I believe, let me check the economic calendar. I believe we're getting some data tomorrow morning. Not quite sure, but anything outside of earnings you've been looking at? Actually, never mind. Tomorrow we do not have anything. We had, of course, busy day yesterday between the initial jobless claims. We had, of course, Fed at. We had the Fed, jobless claims were this morning. We had the Fed yesterday. I'm looking at the calendar now. What did you think about the Fed minutes and the press conference at 2:30?
So we only got Fed minutes yesterday. We didn't have a press conference at 2:30. That was from the July 26th, 27th meeting. Some takeaways from the minutes I have written down that says officials anticipate ongoing increases for federal funds rate. Officials judge the bulk of tightening effect yet to be felt. And the Fed staff expects unemployment rate to start rising in the second half of this year. So it was very interesting to see how the markets reacted. We saw a lot of them come pulling back, or actually we saw a lot of them actually rise whenever some Fed minutes came. And then as traders and them digest them, we headed back towards the lows of the day. Not quite, but we ended up lower, ending the 5-day winning streak on the Dow. I think everybody's preparing for Jackson Hole, which is next week, Thursday, Friday. And so we're going to have to really watch the Fed speakers there to see what kind of hint they come out and what Jay Powell's hinting. We had Fed's Daily this morning on CNN International this morning making some headlines saying as they get closer to the September meeting, it's either going to be 50 or 75. She also says that, 50 or 75. And, it's just reiterating that they stand by their policies, that they have the tools to bring them down. They want inflation to 2%, just the same stuff we've been hearing for the past month.
Yeah, and I don't know. I saw in my calendar that there was supposed to be that Michelle Bowman, the Fed governor, was supposed to speak at 2:30. I don't know. I thought that was supposed to be a press conference. I guess not. I was out of the office yesterday afternoon. But yeah, I mean, it seemed like from what I looked at from the market response was that we rallied after, two, and then started kind of trading off a little bit from there. Um, but yeah, man, I mean, today kind of more quiet day. We of course had Cisco earnings. Cisco beat, stock trading higher. Anything else on your notes from the day?
Yeah, so Cisco, we got some notable price target changes this morning. Barclays, I mean, these aren't really notable. I mean, they're upping them by a little bit. Barclays 55 to 56, Citigroup 40 to 44, Cowen 58 to 60, Credit Suisse 60 to 65, Jefferies 52 to 54. JPM 51 to 54. I mean, none are really big, but I thought it was interesting on the Target side too. Target, they had they did miss expectations per my notes, which was interesting because a lot of people shop at Target. Or I'm sorry, no, yeah, they missed adjusted EPS. They missed on revenue, comparable sales. They missed. Target prices though seemed that everybody thought the conference call was good. There was some bullish activity. B of A goes from 165 to 180. Cowen 190 to 210. DA Davidson 185 to 203. Guggenheim 185 to 190, Jefferies 161 to 170, Raymond James 190 to 200. RBC actually cuts their price target. That's like one on the street that does it. RBC 231 to 223. It all depends really how you look at the quarter because they missed on EPS and revenues and comparable sales. The conference call, as they say, back to school was good. But something interesting too that I noted is they say on the conference call, space occupied by inventory down 20% since June. Autumn inventory peak will be lower in the spring. So that doesn't really sound too bullish for me. So I'm not sure why we're seeing more upgrades than downgrades. I thought to me that would be a downgrade alert, but everybody views it differently. I think Target will come crawling back from a lot of these misses. I think a lot of these big retailers will come crawling back from these misses. I think it's just June, July when supply chain issues were really heavily, but I think we'll see some improvement in the quarter.
Yeah, and I mean, to me, Target's one of those names that's not going anywhere. So if you love it long term and you want to add some shares down here at 170 when we're still, about $100 off our highs, sure, but it all depends on your time horizon, like you said. Missed on some things. So, if you're buying for a month-long swing trade or to hold for 6 months, of course this thing can tick back lower. I mean, and Target, like a lot of other companies, are going to be, it's going to be determined by what's happening on a macro perspective. Is consumer spending slowing down? Is it increasing? Is inflation? Like all these things, some things are out of Target's control, but for what Target can control, they do a good job. And I wouldn't mind holding Target long term here.
Yeah, no, and one last quick point on Apple. Dan Ives raised his price target yesterday, so Wedbush actually has the highest price target. I believe he has a 220 or 221 on the target. So he went from 200. Also interesting yesterday, Apple targeting September 7th for the iPhone launch. We're going to really have to watch how that plays out. Apple employees are expected to be back in the office 3 days a week, beginning right after Labor Day. So we're going to have to see if these companies and many more continue. Are they going to come back or work from home? But no, Apple story, iPhone launch September 7th. It should be in the stores near September 16th.
Beautiful. All right, Nick. Well, it is 1 p.m. I know we got you on the tail end today. Only a few minutes, but as always, a pleasure to get you on. I think tomorrow, if I had to anticipate, we'll I hope not, but looks like to be another kind of slower news day. And then, but next week we should be ramping back up with headlines. So Nick, we'll get you back on soon. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday. For everyone out there, News by Nick on Twitter. I'll drop that in the chat.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Of course. Thank you. All right, guys. Nick Brown, News by Nick on Twitter. Like I mentioned, let me go ahead and drop that link in the chat because you got to give him a follow. A great follow on Twitter. Jennifer Weimer, just saying drug. I don't know what that means. Do not know what that means. News by Nick. Go ahead and give him a follow. All right, guys. That'll be a wrap for us today. Money Mitch, stock market movers, getting ready to start up right now. He'll be talking to Brian Overby, the senior options analyst at Ally Financial, as well as the Plus Therapeutics president and CEO, Mark Hendrick. So some 2 exciting interviews coming up on Stock Market Movers. Do not go anywhere. This stream will automatically redirect you.